Okay, went to the local Vallarta supermercado. It's a Hispanic supermarket. Hopes to find hog heads, and what I found were hog heads. They cut them in half, which is good because I would have requested that they cut them anyway. So I got two halves, not necessarily belonging to the same hog. I also got pork tongue. I got some pork feet or pig feet. I got additional pork ears. And just for the heck of it, I also got additional pork snout. The purpose of the pig feet is for extra gelatin to go into making this hog head cheese. And I'm going to cook the pork ears separate. I will put the tongue in. That's just to have extra meat to go into when I'm going to make hog head cheese. And also I have the pork snout, as I said, just because it was there and it's like, hey, what the heck? And I'll see, maybe I'll experiment with it and do something with the pig ears. Anyway, here we go. This is New Year's Eve weekend, and I've got my hog heads, half heads, pork feet, trouters. Here you have the tongue, snouts, and ears. Okay, here's my pig ears, and I just want to show you some of the things that are involved in cleaning it. Look at that ear, pretty dirty in there. So I got to make sure that I clean all that yuck out of there, in addition to getting all the hair out of it. Big job, but it's got to be done. You got to have clean pig head before I make this stuff. And the other one, it needs to be cleaned also. Still got gunk in it and stuff, so I'm going to have to get a brush too and brush it. So we're going to be cleaning these pig heads. And one of the things that's of note is that inside the ears there's a lot of gunk and stuff that needs to be brushed out of there. So I have a toothbrush that I'm going to use to scrub in there and get whatever gunk I can out. In addition, I also have a razor blade that I'm going to be using to get the hair off all the skin on this pig head. Skin is a no-no. I mean, hair on the skin is a no-no. I'm excited to do this. This is just something that's out of my element, but I'm going to try it and see what I get. Get inside that snout. Hey, they got teeth need brushing too. Okay. And I know that I'm going to have to go through rinse after rinse after rinse. I'm going to brine this hog head, salt and water, using the standard, 1 tablespoon of salt to a cup of water. And then we'll see in the morning. Our next step then is to start to prepare. I'm going to rinse this water out. Do it again. Looking better than it did when I took it out of the package. Also, no, it's still got the eyeballs. I don't know if I'm going to put the eyeballs in my hog head cheese or not. The hubby, if he wants them in there. If he doesn't, then no. I'll start all over again. Pig heads to make hog head cheese. Okay. And I've got the razor, and I'm just gonna do it like you would do your shaving yourself. I don't see a lot of anything coming off of the ear. That's a good thing. The inside of the ear. Just a little bit. Nothing to write home to mommy about. I've gone through about 4 or 5 washings And the water is actually very, very clear now comparatively. I'm going to let it soak here for about 10 minutes while I get this brine ready. Then I'll do one more rinse. Okay, here's my hog heads. They're in a brine. I used 16 cups of water, and there are 16 cups of water, and the ratio of salt to the water is 1 tablespoon of salt per 1 cup of water. And I'm going to brine these overnight. I'll brine them overnight, and that'll pull some of the blood out, plus, you know, give the meat a little bit of enhancement. Here are my hog head halves. They brined overnight, and now they're ready to go into the pot for my hog head cheese. In addition, I have some trotters, or pig feet, and the purpose of the pig feet is to add more collagen to the mixture so that it will gel better. I also found some additional pig tongues that I'm going to add. No particular reason. There's also snouts, additional pig snouts that the butcher actually butchered up, so you can't really get the distinction that it's a snout, but that's the way the package was labeled. And this is the pot I'm going to use. It's actually probably bigger than I need, but I won't know that till I put everything in there. But the other pot that I had was wider, not as tall, but I don't think that it would accommodate all the meats that I'm going to put in here. Currently there's nothing in here. I'm going to add the meats, and I'll show you the spices and things that I'm going to add. And I have my spout here for water that I could add to the pot so I don't have to lift it initially. Here are my seasonings and spices. I've got the standard carrots, onions, celery. I've got a bouquet garni which has sage, thyme, and rosemary. There's about 10 cloves of garlic, 3 bay leaves, a few little allspice, star anise. I'm only going to put a couple of them in there, and maybe a couple of little slices of ginger may go in. I've got a half a cup of apple cider vinegar. I've got salt, and I'm probably going to put in probably about, just about a half a cup of salt. I've got pepper, and that's probably about 2 tablespoons. And then I've got a pickling mixture. And all that's going to go into the initial cooking of my hog head cheese. Okay, I've got all the players lined up, ready to go into the pot. And first I'm going to run a little bit of water in here. I've got all the meats down in there. It's a big load. Water level is going to be just to cover everything. And next to the meats that are going to pull off of this pig, the broth that it's going to make is the most important part of this whole process. And I'm going to start adding my onions. I've got carrots. And these veggies are primary just to give flavor, additional flavor. To see where it goes. I've got my bouquet garni. As I said before, this rosemary, thyme, and sage, all fresh. Pepper, this is a serrano. I've got 3 fresh bay leaves. Garlic. Get all that in there. That's my allspice. And a couple of star anise. Apple cider vinegar. Gonna add the pepper. Pickling spices. and salt. And I'm going to add more water because I do need to cover all of this. And I guess I did need this big pot. This would never have fit in my other pot. So I've got the fire currently on high. I can get this water bath going. And I think we got a good enough. I'm going to turn that off. And here we go. We're making hog head cheese. Everything's in there and there's nothing left to do but to be patient and wait. I am 1 hour into the cook of the hog head cheese. I did a skim a little bit before I put the camera on, and I'm going to continue skimming this all throughout the cook. This is, what, 2 hours in, and probably another 2 to 3 hours to go. Still looking good. Okay, we are at the 3-hour mark. Nothing's changed. It looks about the same on top. Let's go in and see if any of the parts have come to the surface. That's the tongue. That's the foot. And it still looks like it's got a ways to go. So we'll know when it's done when these pieces of meat start to fall in off the bone or look like they're crumbling. We are now at the 4-hour mark, and I think we've reached doneness. This part here is the actual pig head, and it's risen up through the ranks, through the top, and this looks very, very tender. So, got it off, and we're gonna let this cool down some so we can process this baby. Okay, my friends. What we have here is a very tender hog head, and I just pulled this off. I'm waiting for it to cool. Then I'm going to start the process of shredding the good meat from the fat and the skin. We throw away the fat, we throw away the skin. The veggies and stuff I'm also going to separate out, and those go in the trash also. So this is the process. The other part of it is when I pull the juice off, I put it in a separator for the fat separator, and so I have the broth without the fat in the bottom, and I put that in this pan, and I discard the fat into the pan behind. So it is a very involved process, and we still got a long ways to go, a long, long ways to go. I don't know if there's an easy way of doing it, but let's do this. Hog head cheese. Yep. Hog head cheese. Okay, my friends, I've separated out all the parts that are usable versus not, and you can see the difference. This is all fat, skin, bones, and some cartilage, and this is the meat section. 2 to 1. 2 parts throw away, 1 part keep to make our hog head cheese. There it is. I decided to go for a chunkier version, and rather than where I would blend it and make the particles much smaller. This way I think that when you slice it, it'll have a more appealing look to it. I've added more salt, pepper, and some cayenne pepper, and right now I'm still waiting for my broth to reduce to see how far it'll go in gelling. And that's it. Then we can put them in the tureen. Our hog head cheese is done. As far as the part of loading it in the loaf pans and putting in the reduced stock. These are going to go in the refrigerator overnight, and they'll chill and gel. And then tomorrow we can cut into it and see what we got. I'll bring you back tomorrow when I unveil the results of this experiment. I'm pretty pleased so far with what I got. Tastes pretty good. My hog head cheese has been in the refrigerator overnight, and it has congealed. And so now it's time to open this baby up and see what it did. Here it is. So far we're looking good. Okay, now it's time to take a slice of this. Wow. Slice very nice. There you have it, hog head cheese. This was a very exciting experiment for me. All the way from pig head, cooking it, monitoring its progress, and there you have it, hog head cheese. I decided to make the more chunkier version so that, just for appearance sake, so you could, for each slice you could see what the pieces were. And I like what I see. I think it's very good. Now, to taste. I think we've done good, real good. I'm really pleased with this. Yeah, I wish you guys could taste this. You know, it reminds me of cold pulled pork. Yeah, but now this is sliceable, so you can put it on sandwiches, eat it as an hors d'oeuvre, put it on a charcuterie plate, and serve it with crackers, crusty bread, hog head cheese. I want to thank you all very much for being on this journey with me.